Mr. Councilmember Zepone.
And they hired John Hall.
Councilmember Zepone. Thank you.
Councilmember Bingo.
Lots of good
Councilmember
experience.
Bingo.
Bingo.
All right. Member Wilkerson, we're starting.
Okay, let's sing the Mary Cliff
She's having a good time.
Okay, we're calling the meeting to order. This is our PIES, Public Infrastructure Meeting. And
I'm ready to move.
Councilmember,
I'm ready to move to approve.
Councilmember Wilkerson, we've just started.
We've started the meeting.
We have
Do
started.
we need a second?
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, thank you for that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. It's a short meeting, shorter than some of our other meetings have been. And we do have a Historic Landmarks Commission interview with Chris Knoll. Is this going to be virtual?
Yep.
Chris, are you there?
I'm here.
Great. Welcome, Chris. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you would like to be on the Landmarks Commission?
Yeah. Well, I'm originally from Spokane. I was born here, at Central Valley High School. Educated in Washington at Western for my undergrad, and at Washington State for my master's degree, and now work out at Eastern Washington University. I would like to serve on the Landmark Commission because I really value giving back and serving in my professional career, and this is a way for me to, I think, contribute to my hometown.
Great. Questions for Chris? Anybody? Go ahead.
I don't have a question, Chris, but thank you for coming back to your community to serve. I like it.
Go ahead.
Hey, Chris, thanks for being here. Is there a particular historic district in Spokane that is your favorite, or what are some of the unique areas that really pop out and inspire you to want to be a part of this board?
That's a loaded question, but that's
It
okay.
is. Yeah.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Well, I live on the area, kind of just off the Garland district, and I really enjoy that kind of, later, early 20th century to mid-century sort of aesthetic. And but in terms of other things as far as the commission goes, I'm an archaeologist, and I would really like to see more archaeological resources be recognized in the city.
Great answer. Thank you, Chris. Anybody else?
Just one last comment. I should have told you I represent District 1, so to pick something in that district, but you didn't. That's okay. Yeah.
Anybody else? Chris, thanks so much for contributing to our community and for volunteering to serve on this commission. It is so important. And I'm such I'll say I'm a historic preservation geek, so I greatly appreciate our city and its historic culture and what we have to offer. So thanks for serving. Appreciate it. And what's the timeline?
Your appointment is on for council vote tonight, and there's no reason for you to be here or anything, so.
So again, thanks so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Next up is Clint. You're going to be talking about Clint and or Marlene, the Cedar Road speed zone change.
Good afternoon, PI committee members. So the street department is requesting or proposing a resolution for a speed change on Cedar Road from 45 down to 35 miles an hour through the area where Eagle Ridge joins into Cedar Road there. There's a development that went in. The development has turn lanes, and the design of the turn lanes have it was designed for a 35 mile an hour road through that area. For safety reasons, that's why we're requesting the change.
Go ahead.
Just real quick, was the expectation that we would be kind of reducing the speed? Was that why they built it for a reduced speed?
I don't know for certain
Okay.
what the reasoning was. That was designed by an outside contractor.
Gotcha.
Could you talk a little bit about other areas in the city, I know that we typically don't have 45-mile-an-hour speed limits in the city. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, most of the areas within the city are 35-mile-an-hour zone, with the exception of the arterials. There's some outlying areas out on the West Plains and some other areas where it is 45 miles an hour, but most of the speed limits within the city are at the 35-mile-an-hour limit. So it does make sense to lower them to be consistent. That's the way all of our equipment is designed for sweeping and plowing and for doing traffic control.
Any other questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Oh, I need 2 sponsors. Am I a sponsor?
I'll sponsor if you need another one.
Okay.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I'll list both of you.
Yeah, I've got, so Karen and Lori. Okay. Next up is Kristen Zimmer on the Conservation Ordinance Communication Recap. Welcome.
Have a little presentation for you guys. I'll pull that up here, hopefully. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone.
Can you come close so you're in front of the mic? You can move the mouse over to you.
Let's do this again. Okay. Good afternoon. The Public Works Division wanted to just provide a recap on all the outreach and kind of marketing we did for the new water conservation ordinance, and also provide kind of a plan for the next year. I'll be back in the first quarter to talk more in depth about the conservation program results. So this is just a little special time to focus on this. Oh, mouse. Okay. I can do this. Immediately after the ordinance was passed, we put a utility insert with the watering rules reminder. So we're asking customers to water on odd, even days, depending on their address. And then also the common sense, not during the middle of the day, those types of things. And just reminding them that it's also the best practice for irrigation and landscaping is that deep and infrequent watering. And also we provided a feature in our water quality report, and that's something that goes out every single year to our water customers as a requirement from the Department of Health. And the reason I bring this up is because we push it out in every mechanism possible. So it went out on a media release, in the community newsletter, utility inserts, social media, city web pages, the homepage, Public Works, water pages. So it gets a lot of views. Okay, and then on our social media assets, we put together several ads and posts throughout the irrigation season. So I'm just going to talk about one of our best performers here was we reached almost 200,000 people in our community, and they ran about 500,000 impressions, all for the investment of like $3,200. The ordinance also worked really well with some of our existing programs. So we have residential water consultations that we provide a one-on-one visit with a homeowner or property owner. And typically in a visit, we'll look at their water use, look at their landscape, and make a calculation on exactly or approximately how much water you need to maintain that vegetation. So we calculate the square footage of the turf and of like plants and those types of things. Provide them a budget, a watering budget, and also a recommended schedule, which was a nice point for us to go and communicate about the ordinance. And sometimes if customers requested, we could change the controller for them. It's been a really popular program, and we won't have like real solid results till next summer, but I'm estimating at least a 20 to 50% savings like per household in their outdoor water use. It also fit really well with our WaterWise Challenge. So we've run this for 3 years, and customers can sign up, and their goal is to beat their last year's consumption in July and August, so the hottest months of the year. And if they save 10%, they can get a utility bill credit And then it tiers up. So it starts at 10%, 20, 30, and the ranges from $50 all the way to $300 credit for our grand prize winner. And this year was really great. We all together, about 70 participants, they saved over 1 million gallons together just by practicing those new watering rules or other, conservation hacks. We produced a new animation and aired that on our local news stations and social media. I'm going to take 30 seconds of your time to play it and hope that it works. But you won't be able to hear it. If only I could turn on the captions. Let me try one more thing. It's so good. You want to hear it.
Here, let me drive for a sec.
Thank you.
You just hit enter. I don't know.
Well,
Sorry.
You could send us all the link. We'll watch it in our cubicles.
okay. So I'll send you the link, but essentially it's a reminder of the rules and shows, it's a cool animation that shows, our water table lowering as the water's being pumped and, the midday cost of watering and the mention of the costly infrastructure upgrades we'll have to get to maintain our peak demand. So we have that now as an asset that will be running next year for the entire irrigation season. So we're really prepared to run with that and the additional assets that were produced in 2022. For the animation, we tested out kind of on our local news market and ran it during like the morning news hour and saw, I'll show you. So it was just for a week because it was produced a little bit later in the year, but we saw a big bump in our page views for our WaterWise Spokane homepage. So in addition to running on the air, it was on their like digital streaming pages and things like that. So we'll be all prepared to run on every type of media outlet that's possible next year, social media, all the things, the whole gamut. Okay, yep, so we'll rerun our successful programs, keep communicating and teaching about the resolution and smart irrigation practices. Really excited to use this animation, get it out there. You're going to see it a bunch next summer. You probably don't even need the link. It's just going to be in your face. And yeah, that's about it. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so we're calling it successful. So I'm curious, do we have measurable results in terms of water reduction that we can show since the campaign began?
Not at this time. We don't have our full recap of the year for water sales. But for the individual programs, I have success stories. So like the challenge was about 1 million gallons, but we'll look at our whole customer portfolio in the beginning of the year. And I'll come back.
Marlene, did you want to add something?
We did the Water Conservation Master Plan update in February. This was just the communication. We just wanted to give you an idea of kinds of the efforts we put into this. But we'll have more data in the first quarter of the year when we come back on the master plan to tell you what water use looks like. So that's just part of it. So we just wanted to give you this sort of preview, but we're working on those metrics.
And I appreciate that. And I just wanted to see, because we're calling it successful. And to me, successful means the ordinance works. And so is that in fact the case, or are we just seeing an increased bump in people going to our website?
I think they're just saying that the advertising campaign was successful, right? That's
Right,
my
so we're getting
understanding of what you're saying,
impressions and views. We kind of feel like the first step to all of this is getting people aware of the rules. So education is the first step. And the results on the water saving side are going to trail the education side. So for us, it's successful because we did get a lot of page views. We got a lot of interest in that. We had a really great, couple of programs that we do have some good metrics with it. So this is a stepped-in process. But you're right. Ultimately, it'll be what can we get going on the actual water saving side, and that's going to take a few years probably to materialize, frankly.
And the WaterWise challenge is great. I mean, that's gamifying. It's literally what I've been saying.
Yeah.
So of course it works. It's a reduction and, it's an incentive to reduce. Yes. So we know that works. So my other question is, or maybe it's a comment, is, so I live in maybe a more unique situation. I'm in an HOA. We don't get utility bills. I don't get any of that messaging. I don't watch local news, so I don't get any of that messaging. So I'm kind of curious, how are you going after folks like me and making sure that I'm educated in what's going on? Because eventually we're going to turn on the mandate part of this and start using the stick rather than a carrot. And so I'm curious, how are we communicating that to folks? Because my neighborhood's very diverse, a lot of language barriers, very much older folks too. And so I'm just curious, how are we going after those demographics to make sure that it's not just in a utility bill, but they're seeing it in many other ways?
Yeah, that's a very good point because, a lot of people don't actually, they might get an e-bill as well or don't see a utility bill and don't even know how much water they're using. So we provide like local classes, and again, I'm advertising and as wherever I can, but like through the Spokane libraries, watering classes, Spokanescape classes, demonstration gardens and things like that. Okay. Community events. We're out at Riverfront Park on this Wednesday, although it might not be the most relevant topic, but we'll be there.
And my last question or comment is, are you guys reaching out actively to like HOA associations, knowing that the residents there do not receive a utility bill, and also knowing that as an HOA community, they also water. And I will tell you, right up until winter, they were watering in all, against every single thing that was put up there. So what's that communication look like with the HOA associations or the landscaping companies or those who have kind of hands-on in terms of the folks who are watering maybe in the wrong times of day?
Yeah, it's actually was really exciting to get such a big response back from the community this year. We worked with 2 HOAs individually that contacted the water department. One was helping them find a leak in their area. So it follows under our commercial conservation program. And if they, like at HOA or other facility, makes our top 100 customer list, we're actively targeting every person on that as well. But if you have recommendations on how to contact HOAs, I'm all ears. I don't live in one, so I'm not familiar.
I know. It's difficult to communicate, so.
Right, yeah. And, in Eagle Ridge, I've been asked to present there to the community. So just, keep letting people know that a program's available and they can access it even if they're not going to see the exact savings on their bill. Together in the community, like Rockwood Retirement Homes installed a bunch of smart irrigation controllers, and that rebate went back on the big bill that the HOA receives, but they can still access those benefits that the rest of the community has.
Gotcha. That's great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Councilmember Bingle.
Yeah. So on your WaterWise challenge, was it 78 people that were in the WaterWise challenge?
70.
70. Okay.
Yeah.
So 70. It was 46% hit their 30% goal. 21 and 33. Does that mean that every participant hit at least the 10% goal? Is that what that means?
It did not actually.
Oh,
So
okay.
we had probably about 15 people that used more water this summer than the year prior.
That were in the WaterWise challenge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
5-0 is what I heard.
Oh, 15. No, we had
1-5.
46 winning entries. Yeah.
Gotcha.
One person alone saved almost 200,000 gallons.
Wow.
By taking out her backyard turf and installing with Spokanescape.
Amazing. And so when you do that, is there a target number of individuals you're looking to have in that, or is it just whoever, come who may?
My target's 100. And so it's slowly built up over the last 3 years. The first year was 50, then 21 was weird. It was like 20 people, and this year's our best year yet. So I expect we'll hit that target next year for sure.
Yes, 21 was weird. It was a weird year.
Indeed.
Councilmember Stratton.
I was just going to say, in my neighborhood, we had a couple houses that have gone to the Spokanescape. We're looking at doing that as well next year. But also, we have 2 companies that service lawns and do the spraying and all of that, and we all talk to them to get ideas. And they were absolutely following recommendations from the cities, with the watering, when you should water, when you shouldn't. In fact, one directed us to the website. But yeah, it was interesting just to kind of chat people up and talk to them, because that's what we want to tear up our whole lawn as well
Awesome.
next year. So
Oh, that's
thank
so
you for
great
all
to
the
hear.
work you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
Questions.
All right.
Kristen,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. You're doing a great job. We so appreciate it. On
Appreciate
behalf of the community, thank you. And the river, thank you. All right, next up is Marlene Feist with an update on assistance to utility bill customers and ARPA.
Okay. Do I go with slideshow here? Where is this?
Okay. So we've talked about this a lot, so I just want to sort of update council on kind of what we were able to do with, thanks to the commerce dollars and others. So remember, this is our goal: reduce the number of households facing housing insecurity due to accumulated bills, reduce the number of households sent to collections for past due accounts, reduce the number of households facing water shutoff, and reduce the negative health impacts of prolonged stress due to negative pandemic impacts. This is kind of where we're sitting right now, about 9.3 million in outstanding balance. It's grown over time, right? So we've been talking about this for a while. In January, that amount was 7.3. So we're continuing to see those amounts go up. And the bulk of the funds, as you know, is owed on single family and multifamily residential. So last week, City Council approved a grant with the Department of Commerce for $1.88 million. So we revised those numbers a little bit after doing a little more detailed look. So we believe that those amounts will be applied to customers, 2,340 customers, based on the criteria. That will not get those customers current, but it will deal with a good portion of their past due amounts because it's time limited. So, this is where we're kind of looking at where we can fill in with ARPA dollars. So to get those customers that qualify for commerce amounts completely current, we'd need another $1 million. So remember, these customers are pre-qualified based on need. They qualified for the Lee Heap program, so basically Project Share for their energy bills. They qualified through getting Lee WAP dollars, which was a federal program to help people who are behind on water bills. Through our own City U Help program, folks who receive our senior and disabled credits, people who had qualified for no interest payment plans, and people who got utility support as part of their rental assistance dollars. So those people all have demonstrated need to the community in some way by applying for those programs and receiving them. We believe we can help another 1,850 folks with a $1.8 million amount who reside in qualified census tracts, which is another way that the ARP dollars suggest that we look at people who are in need. So just to remind you, this is what this looks like. So that's the qualified census tracts in the city. And obviously, these are people with low, median household income. So there's a lot of folks, there's folks in all districts, but really District 1 heavy here, as we saw more bills that were delinquent were in that area. And this is indicative of the population that lives there. And so here's the rest of how we believe that we can help those who need help the most. So we want to be able to do a cross-reference to those who received rental assistance but didn't get city utility bill help. So we haven't done that cross-reference yet with that list, but we want to work with the providers to see if we can find other customers who haven't already qualified through these other programs that we might be able to help. We think that's probably in the $250,000 to $500,000 range, maybe as many as 500 customers who weren't picked up in those other groups. And then we know that there are customers who have need, who haven't asked for any help. So we'd like to be able to provide money to SNAP to do the distribution of those dollars as they've been doing UHelp and other programs in the community, so that we can qualify those customers without the city having to necessarily ask people for, that kind of information. But we would do that through a third party who's used to doing that. And there's also business customers that we might want to help. It's a smaller balance amount, and I think we'd want to set some parameters around what we think is important. But certainly there's business need there as well. And that would leave us with probably 2,000 to 3,000 customers with remaining outstanding balances. If all the dollars could be applied the way we've suggested here, that would be a $2.5 to $3 million residual that we would then work with through the utility. So that means we can offer no interest payment plans. We can, work with a collections type process. And we can, potentially look at write-offs after we identify people who would qualify for that. We have set aside money in the proposed 2023 budget, $360,000, to help us with notification of customers and with the ability to work with customers to get to those results and solutions. So my bottom line is this: we need help. We have a $9.3 million outstanding balance. The utility has worked to, we can get through about half of that with the commerce funding and working with our customers. And then this is our request for ARP dollars. Why it's a range is because we were not exactly sure on that TRAP or how much assistance we'd want to provide to business customers. Next steps, we need to credit the qualifying customer counts with the commerce support by the end of the year. We want to be able to at least finalize an ARP investment amount at some point here in the near future, work with those remaining customers and move customers into current status so that we can get into a more regular payment arrangement with those folks. So that's pretty much it.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, two questions for you. One is the roughly 3,000 or so that are kind of remaining customers. Is there a way to kind of get a sense of who that is, kind of what that demographic looks like? And yeah, anyway.
I think we'll know more once we get people to actually apply. So we know a bunch of customers qualify on a need basis. And then we assume that there are more that would. And so that the last group, I would imagine, just wouldn't meet those qualifying need-based, and where they're located and so forth, we could map once we get a little bit better idea of the buckets above them, if you will.
Okay.
So we pretty much know where the qualifying census tract folks are. You saw that map. We could map where the commerce dollars and where those folks are located, and then we would have a pretty good idea of what's left. I just know that there are people out there likely who would have qualified for help who just haven't asked for it yet.
Right.
So we want to be able to offer that. And if we didn't spend all that, then fine. You know what I mean? It's not like we would have the opportunity to turn that back to the larger ARP fund if we didn't find enough qualifying customers. Based on our experience, though, with rental assistance, I don't think that would be the problem.
So, and then my second question, of the 9.3, is any of that delinquencies that are continuing to reoccur? So like new delinquencies that are coming up and continuing recurring, or do we put a stop at some point to that so that?
Well, I think we would put a stop right now, you know what I mean? And then anything new, we would go through our normal process. But we are continuing to see customers their balances continuing to grow right now. We're not seeing a ton of new customers with delinquent balances, but
Okay.
customers who have had longstanding delinquencies, yes. And we're also seeing those delinquencies shift forward because by RSMC, we apply the payments to the oldest first.
Okay.
So the pandemic amounts are sliding forward for a lot of customers. They, in some cases, are not growing. Some cases, they are growing. But we are seeing that shift.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
So my question is sort of to piggyback off of this, and you said the longstanding delinquencies. Do we, if we were able to help folks and get them into a position where they're no longer delinquent and get them into, I think you said regular status, do we currently have people who are just like, well, I already owe $2,000, so another $100 doesn't matter. I'll just not pay this one too. Do you think that's where we're at?
I think for some folks, I really do, because what you're seeing, the larger balance amounts, we have seen a lot in that first bucket of where we were saying, these are the people who have qualified for help, and they've gotten other help, and there hasn't been a lot of help available in this area. Those are the ones we see a lot of larger balance customers that we will take care of by dealing with on a need-based approach. We are going to deal with a lot of folks with larger balances.
And so then the folks that we've helped in this way get them to regular status, how many of them have again gone into delinquent status, or is it like the majority of them that have been paid up are now paying their bill again regularly?
Right, so we haven't actually applied anything yet.
Okay.
So you just approved the Commerce dollars last week, so now we're going to have to credit that before the end of the year. So that'll be the first kind of big bulk. Now, we have had some assistance come through, I think we've talked about, through TRAP, through that LEWOP program, through UHelp. Some of the customers remain current, but in like UHelp's case, it's only $130-ish. So it really wasn't, it's help, but it's not enough to get anybody current. So, I think we're going to have to be, when we get into much more of a normal pattern of managing like we normally would with water shutoff and so forth, when we get past sort of this bulk of customer, I think we're going to get people into much more of a normal rhythm. But I do think you're right that somebody who feels like the amount is
Insurmountable.
Yeah, if 2,000 or 2,100 is probably not a big difference in their mind. At some point, they're at a point where they can't pay.
My last question on this is when we start delivering and helping people out, which is going to be fantastic for many folks, do we have some communication that's going to go out with it to say, this is a unique, once-in-a-lifetime situation,
Yes.
This isn't a regular
Right,
thing?
absolutely. And that's part of that dollar amount that I mentioned so that we can communicate really clearly with customers. You've received this credit due to X and Y, and now your bills are going to be, and there is no more money after this, that's it. And we expect you to remain current as a result of this support.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay. Marlene, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
SBO to adjust year-end appropriation authority, Jake Miller. Come on up.
Okay, I'll zoom in on that a little bit when we talk about it. But thank you, Council. At the end of each year, the Budget Office performs an analysis to ensure that none of the city's funds exceed their total appropriation level. This year, there were a handful of funds that have outstanding SBOs that will combat that issue, but one fund does remain, and that's the General Obligation Bond Fund. So currently, let's use the mouse. The net budget in that fund is $7,506,299, but the anticipated interest expense is $8.169 million, so we are short by $633,128. The SBO I presented just adds $500 on top of that for an occasional interest expense for taxpayer refunds. But as of right now, this is the only fund that we're at risk of exceeding the total appropriation level. Does anyone have any questions?
Just, is it typical and is the reason just simply the inflationary environment?
Not in this case. I can't speak to exactly what happened, but I would assume just a miscalculation based on the debt schedules because it's known going into the year. So we do have a fund balance in that fund of $7.3 million, so plenty to cover it. And it would have, yeah, it should have been that way from the start. So.
Anybody else? Jake, thank you.
Thank you.
I need two sponsors. Engel and Wilkerson. Thank you. Okay, next up is Council President and Mr. Harrison. We're doing speed zones around parks and hospitals.
Yeah, so just to tee up, you might recall at the the request of our legislative agenda last year. We got the legislature to authorize speed radar cameras near parks and hospitals. The legislature gave us that authority. And so now it is time to figure out where to place those. It fits nicely with some of the results we got from our 2-year pilot on 20 miles per hour near parks, where we learned that at least at some of the parks, people just ignored the speed limit, and we didn't, and we have even less now actual on-site physical enforcement. But these radar cameras should be a game changer on that. And so we've started to solicit neighborhoods and the school districts for which parks and hospitals they think they should be there. 2 factors for these cameras as opposed to our regular school speed cameras or our red light cameras. We have to share half the revenues with the state traffic mitigation fund. And then the second piece is we're just about maxed out on our capacity at municipal court and the police department to process the cameras that we have. So my thinking is rather than just add a couple cameras, which will tip us over into having to hire additional staff, we actually do a suite of them that will fill up that person's, those FTE positions. I mean, it'll be paid for out of the fund. So I've put that out there. I think we've sent it to Office of Neighborhood Services. I've talked at that community assembly. And I think we've already started to get some from neighborhood resolutions. We're asking for resolutions. Give us a resolution, parks. But I was hoping we could hear from the streets department in terms of considerations from streets on putting in these cameras, and then also whether or not, if we have these cameras going back to 20 miles per hour year round on some of the parks that we've had before, particularly on a few of the arterials.
And then you're going to ask, or perhaps answer, do we need to do a traffic study because there are arterials, even though the legislature passed this, so if you could address that too.
So what are the questions specifically?
Sure, so the question is, one, do you have any thoughts about pairing these newly authorized radar cameras with 20 miles per hour near parks? And then secondly, do we have to do studies in addition to the legislation that authorized them? To go to 20, I think it's not to do a camera, because we can do that, but to lower it from 30 to 20 on an arterial.
Yeah, to lower the speeds, we'd have to do the studies for that. As far as the areas to put a camera or some sort of enforcement, that's usually done with the consultant and the vendor. That they go in and they look for the best places to locate that
But we usually
infrastructure.
nominate, then they kind of confirm it.
Yeah, PD usually provides the information, the locations. They work with them, and then the street department works with them to confirm that the infrastructure can be installed in that area.
And as far as the studies go, can it be as brief as showing that people are speeding in that direction and that there's high pedestrian usage in that area? Or what goes into the studies?
Well, most of the studies are normally around vehicle. We could do pedestrian studies as part of it. We'd have to step back and take a look at what the requirements are really for this RCW, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But the previous RCW on the studies.
Yeah, we'd have to step back and
Take
take
a
a
look
look
at
at
it.
what it says,
Okay.
yeah.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, did we, so during the period of time that we had the previous ordinance in place around parks, did we collect data anywhere except other than High Drive that we might be able to use to look back on?
No, because we only collect data around the arterial streets, and we do it by district once every 3 years.
And so would the traffic, if this were to go forward, you did the traffic studies, would that include a look at kind of the idea that, you want 85% of traffic, flowing at the same rate to avoid a lot of those rear end collisions and whatnot?
I'm sure that's the requirements, but again, we'd have to look at what the requirements are for it.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Certainly supportive. I guess my concern would be around neighborhoods. As we know, some of our neighborhoods think they have traffic issues, and we have documented that what their perception is and what the traffic says do not meet. So trying to get neighborhood input, I think, will be the challenging piece where we actually have some meetings of the minds in neighborhoods.
Well, they're just going to nominate them, and then we put them through our process and actually try to verify
okay, through the
what that
process.
issue was.
That's why the vendor, it's helpful to use the contractor because they're nonpartisan and so they can do a better job of selecting the areas.
This is actually for the council president. Are there thoughts in terms of neighborhoods that don't meet as regularly and how we'll get input from them?
Well, yeah, I mean, hopefully we're giving them enough time to meet. I mean, they meet either quarterly at the slowest. They'll have time to have at least one meeting.
Some neighborhoods meet quarterly at the slowest.
Okay.
So what you're addressing is some of them have gone dark right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's not the end. It's not like the date and then you can't do it. It's just that initial date to give people some impetus to get us something.
Okay.
So we need after we do our bit, we need a consultant.
Say that again?
Your recommendation is we need a consultant.
Well, we have them. It's the people who operate it.
Yeah, it's part of the process.
It's part of our contract with them.
Okay.
So they're already set up. We just have to tell them, please evaluate this area.
And so there are 2 hospitals I'm aware of. Are there more than 2 hospitals?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Holy Family.
Holy
Holy
Family.
Family, Sacred Heart, Deaconess.
And Shriners, which is near Deaconess.
They're all kind of
Yeah.
Yeah. And the VA.
VA,
VA. Yeah,
St. Luke's,
sort of.
sort of, but it's medical.
Yeah. Okay, and the other thing is, we've all heard from our neighborhoods, traffic is an issue. Speeding, inattentive driving. Has anybody not heard that? Okay. Yes, you have. Okay. All right. Anything you want to add?
No, I
Anything you
don't
want
have
to add? Clint, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And next is Tanya on forensic fire overtime report. And Chief Schaefer, are you going to be part of this too, or no?
I think so.
Okay.
Thank you, City Council. This is really about the forensic audit on fire overtime and sick leave utilization that we commissioned early this year. So we wanted to give you an update and let you know, because there's been a lot of stories circulating about this forensic audit. So we did receive a final report from Preston CPA on November 10th. However, there are still a lot of inaccuracies with the report, and so we will be notifying Ms. Preston about that. These were items that we had talked to her September 1st in a meeting that was several hours long as we reviewed the report. But there's still a lot of good information in the report, and that is what Chief Schaefer has for you as well. But we are resolving those issues. We are also out of contract with her. Her contract expired at the end of September when we had not yet received a final report. We reached out to her in October asking if we're going to get a final document. And we did not. She promised us a date, and that date came and went. So we notified her to say that we were not going to actually extend her contract since there was no delivery of a product. And then it was 10 days later that we had received the product, a product. But again, we're going to have to extend her contract, and we still need to get some of those inaccuracies in the report addressed before we really put it out there. But the important parts of this report, Chief Schaefer has, there he is. He switched sides on me. He has prepared some responses to the recommendations that are included in that report.
So I have, and I forwarded the PowerPoint over to Hannah Lee as we were sitting down here. What I will say is I'm not familiar with all the backstory necessarily with Preston, right? With Preston, but I can tell you that our staff have well over 40 hours going through this report and identified pages and pages and pages of inaccuracies that are foundational that were identified much earlier before the report was even done. So our staff had tried to work with this vendor on a number of, it's a complex discussion, especially when we have almost 300 specialty codes, and we have a number of different data sources. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a consultant that would be willing to sit down and exchange information. However, we didn't find that to be the case with this consultant. So we highlighted the inaccuracies. We sent those in form of a PDF, identified all of them on like you can on leaving notes on a PDF, sent it back, and then like Tanya mentioned, we received a report 10 days later with all the inaccuracies still intact. There was a little bit of a change towards the end of the report, which is extremely disappointing for us. The good news, and can I bring up that slide, Hanley? Or
The folder's open there that has them in it.
the good news about, I think pretty well, am I doing this right?
Here. No.
No, thank you.
Chief, can I just ask a quick question so I understand?
Yes, please.
Can you give me are we going to look at an example of what inaccuracies you're talking about?
Nope, but.
So, I mean, because you said there were a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that
So you're wondering kind of like what the flavor is?
Yeah.
The consultant said in one part that we had 16 fire stations. We have 18. We have 3 platoons. We have 4. The hours of work, the foundational dollar amounts that were listed were not near correct to our current pay scales. And a lot of the complexities about our agency and how it works between telestaff and payroll were really omitted and weren't looked into like we had hoped. I mean, that was the whole idea of this. I'm sorry, go ahead, Councilmember.
Well, I haven't seen the report, but I'm wondering, is it possible they've just transposed data from another city they're working with into ours and and hit the button and that's what we got? Is that possible?
My alarms went off when I saw a lot of copied and pasted, what I perceived as copied and pasted text, which just goes to our concern that the level of attention that we expected isn't there, and that somebody was really trying to probably wait till the last minute to do a lot of work. I never met this person. Our staff communicated, tried to give feedback. The feedback wasn't heard. I know you only have 5 minutes for this.
But let's get,
okay.
We have one
Thank
more.
you. Okay.
Yeah, I guess my question is, with so many foundational inaccuracies and the lack of confidence in this, is it worth a presentation? Is it even something that we can extract any data from that's usable?
I would like to just show you 2 pages of the recommendations. There were 12 total. And I guess the only benefit it would be for you is probably to affirm the decisions that you made in the collective bargaining agreement and that we made with technology were the right ones. Because despite all the inaccuracies in the initial data, some of what we saw in bargaining as low-hanging fruit, and the bargaining unit actually worked with us on a number of these, are all listed in the 2-page PowerPoint under recommendations, and then references where in the collective bargaining agreement or in our own processes that we've already made the changes. So essentially, to sum up everything, the report and the way they got to the results was flawed and would never be anything that I would recommend paying for. However, the recommendations reference directly to the collective bargaining agreement and our hiring plan, which you all had a pivotal role in approving. So we were going down the right path. I'm just really disappointed that all the drama that this report has created and the stress that it's put under her and the staff.
Put your hand down.
I just wanted to follow up on that if I could.
Quickly.
So the follow-up is, I guess my challenge with being able to take anything out of this is that if it has been so flawed, then if all of this other stuff is bad, but no, take these parts because these are actually good recommendations, I have a hard time taking any of it to be seriously acted upon if it has been so flawed. So I look forward to your presentation and appreciate what it is, but it's just going to be tough for me to take anything out of it that's a serious recommendation if it's so flawed.
Yeah, I think the premise that they reference, the numbers and the way that they achieve those numbers doesn't necessarily speak to the process recommendations that they have. But it should all tie in. It's just like when we talk about performance management, we're not necessarily making widgets, but there are ways to measure progress and success and achievables. And unfortunately, how they got there wasn't good in our staff's mind and in finance's mind, and pretty well anybody that's seen it. But I would offer that you keep an open mind. Let the CFO and her team get through the contracting process. I'll provide you, and I have done it already, a letter outlining our concerns. And then this is basically copied and pasted of all the recommendations, how we had already achieved those. And then I'll also provide a PDF of all the problems that we found in it, if that would be helpful.
Go ahead.
I just have one quick question. So during this study, did we provide them the initial information, or they sought that information out themselves? So,
Councilmember Wilkerson, we bent over backwards to provide information, but on the other, and this is coming from Julie Oberg, our IT department, there was no interest in actually receiving the data that we wanted to send them. There just wasn't any interest in the details, which in Washington, with the rules that we have around collective bargaining and a city this size that has such disparate timekeeping and financial payroll systems, all that's important, you know, and we're trying to do our best with the money that we have on a really old finance system and trying to plan for the future. I was hoping that we would have good recommendations that would help us get there with the technology that we need to bring us up to at least like 1999 would be great. But we're, you know, and it's hard. I mean, you have so many decisions to make on where to allocate a dollar. We want to try to get to a point where I think any of us in the entire city and any of our stakeholders can pull up and see exactly what that dollar is going to and how much we have and what it means. But I wasn't able to get to that from this report.
thank you.
Council President.
So I just want to try to get some context around this. My recollection is that we had two studies going. One was with Matrix, and that was fire and police, and that was looking for recommendations in general to how to improve our systems and save money. And then this one was more of a forensic that in a worst case scenario was going to maybe uncover some mischief that was going on in the way the rules were being broken or bent, and or in a best case scenario, figure out some controls so that we wouldn't suddenly find ourselves underwater so far without having time to do it. Am I getting that right between the two different studies? Because I don't think this one is so much for recommendations. It was more to see if there were problems.
Thank you, Council President. I think you articulated that very well. There were two different things. A forensic audit that was looking for, as you phrased it, mischief. Unfortunately, Ms. Preston, I think because of the overwhelming data and the way it got presented and the report we got back, did not draw any conclusions that there was any mischief taking place, although we did find in two instances where there was some, I like that, mischief, and we corrected ourselves. Our payroll staff actually caught some of those miscodings. She was not able to. There were no conclusions from a forensic audit perspective in her report, which is part of what we were really looking for in a forensic audit is what are the conclusions that you've come to? We didn't get that information. And that was part of the meeting that we had with her in September where we sat down and it was like, were you able to follow the thread all the way through and take specific samplings? And it did not appear that that took place, and that is what she was going to go back and review in finer detail during September. And then October came and no report. And then we basically got nearly the same thing, cleaned up a little bit in another appendix, but it was the same thing. But it did also include these recommendations, which you would normally see in just a study, not an audit.
And my point is that we weren't relying on this one for the recommendations. This was more the forensic. The Matrix is going to that, but there might be some. So I just wanted to set that context.
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead.
So when do we get more of the recommendations from the other study then? And then my other question would be on this, are we then planning to go out and do this again with a different consultant? Because I feel like we still need to know the underlying information.
I certainly agree with you, and we have taken a slightly different path. We've actually got a temp seasonal employee that has been working very, very closely with Julie Oberg and Tom Williams that is actually building a staffing model for two things. But the staffing model will help validate 19 and 20 and 21, those years, and help point out more easily if things aren't looking right, if there's mischief playing out.
But how can that be independent? I mean, would be my concern, is that if you've got, I mean, I'm sure this person's doing great work, I don't have a problem with that, but that person's working right with the department. I mean, isn't this supposed to be something that's supposed to be a little distant and third-party, independent, not know the players, any of that?
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Stratton. The audit was third-party objective to do that. The temp seasonal was actually hired to build the staffing model. But if the staffing model works according to all of the rules and according to the contract, when something falls out of line with the model, then we know that something else is going on and we can investigate that. Does that make sense?
It doesn't feel...
They're not doing the audit. The temp seasonal is not doing an audit. They're just building a model so that when things start to go sideways, we can spot it easily and faster, if they go sideways. But I mean, I truly think even on this information, I don't believe there was a lot going on. Mischief-wise, there was a lot going on otherwise.
So part that I'm confused on, you're saying that Preston did not want the data, or was it that our data that we gave them was not compatible? Because I remember reading in the Inlander that the Matrix was complaining about the systems and that was difficult to use that data. So
But that was a different audit.
right, but I mean, was that the same data? So is it the systems were the problem?
A lot of the data was shared in both the study and the forensic audit. It's the data that we have. We have significant, I mean, that should be a highlight of both. Our systems and the data has a lot of challenges. So in terms of doing analysis and bringing forward good recommendations, or just from a management perspective, the ability to use the data is challenging.
Can I just speak to that specifically? So in government speak, or I guess actually in life speak, things that are complicated, you do A, you do B, you do C. That's complicated, and I think that's what consultants are used to getting. They're used to dealing with complicated situations. This situation, though, because of this disparate data, just the overwhelming complexity of an organization that's been around since 1884 and had numerous changes in contracts with multiple bargaining units inside the same two different programs, it's complex. It doesn't have a standardized way to move through to analyze. We've had Matrix here. Matrix came last time and said, well, you could save money by going to a 3-platoon system, 56-hour work week, and we solved your problem. And then they left. And that's complicated, maybe, but it doesn't include the RCW for collective bargaining. It doesn't include all the complexities around having an organization that has past practices and standing current collective bargaining agreements. So it's hard work. I'm disappointed that the industry doesn't have exceptional people out there that are willing to do that work. It seems like, at least with our experience with Preston, that it was get in, get out, and do the least amount of work possible. My words, not certainly speaking for anybody else but myself.
A quick follow-up. And so I'm still confused. The whole point of the forensic study was to see if there was shenanigans with overtime during that limited time. But you're saying that's not possible to know if there was shenanigans with sick leave during a limited period of time.
And so complexity plays into it, right? Shenanigans, what does that exactly look like? If somebody takes a sick day, there are specific RCWs that protect that, and that employee has rights in terms of what their medical problem is. They also have PFMLA, FMLA, and during COVID leave. A number of different leave banks that were able to be accessed, which they have a right to.
So it sounds like there was no shenanigans.
My perspective is no. The employees that people felt that were shenanigan-like were likely using the system to their or their family's benefit, meaning they were taking leave that they were allowed to have. And sometimes it's scheduled out on a calendar, yes, but that's the system's design, especially with telestaff, when in one case you could have a vacation day and then work overtime on your vacation day. Well, we remedied that with the collective bargaining agreement. Many of those, and I'm using your language here, shenanigans, those opportunities were eliminated with the new collective bargaining agreement. The areas where when the CFO and her team and fire sat down during COVID and throughout that period afterwards, we weren't able to get good data. So we went back to Questica and we went back to Power BI and we developed heads-up displays that we can watch and see trends. Granted, with HR, there's a limited amount of intervention that you can take when people are using sick time, but there are rules that allow us to monitor that and tools that we have now to monitor that a lot better. So I don't think that the system was abused as a system. I think there may have been one-offs, just like with any standard deviation, you're going to have those outliers, people that never take a day off and people that take a lot of days off. I think our collective desire is to build a system that's resilient, that takes care of our people and takes care of as many of those as we can. We want to keep them healthy. We want to get them back to work. And we're going to focus on that. And the outliers, I think, are going to get taken care of just with their own peer pressure. That's my perspective.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah. Chief, and Chief, I can appreciate your belief that there wasn't any sort of, funny business or shenanigans going on. But at the same time, I think that's why we want the forensic audit, just to bear that out and show from a third party or independent perspective that that is the case. But also, I think, and you're right, the collective bargaining agreement probably fixed some of this, but to also identify whether there are rules that we've put into code or things we've put in a bargaining agreement or things that are in state law that we can always advocate, to change. We want to know what are the things that are affecting the department and what can make it more effective, efficient, et cetera. And so I still think it's really important that we do the forensic study, and if there are no shenanigans, great. At least we'll have that confirmed.
Just to address you before, I know we're taking too much time and I apologize, but I appreciate that and I agree with that, and I would refer you back to the report and why we're so disappointed. In the very beginning of this report, the author says that this is not a forensic audit.
But that's what you hired them for.
In the final report that was issued to us, it was identified as not a forensic audit. So it's extremely disappointing. I think that's what we all wanted. I wanted for the vindication of our people, and I know you want that for the continued public trust. So I think we could.
So, Chief,
Yes, ma'am.
I'll get to you in a minute. We're looking at the website, and they are forensic experts. They're forensic experts.
Is that in quotes or is that in?
Nope,
Okay.
nope. That's
6 years forensic experience.
That was it.
so. One would assume that if you hired this firm, that you were going to get a forensic audit because they advertise as forensic experts. But indeed, you did not. Is that correct?
Thank you, Councilmember Kinnear. I personally went through 26 reviews of consultants that are listed under the MRC roster. There were only 2 that did forensic audit, that had forensic audit in their, and so we put out like a mini RFP process to the 2. And Ms. Preston, her firm was the one that came back with the best price. So that is who we went with.
But so it's a little
Yes.
bit of false advertising. Okay.
Yes,
I don't want to use that word. Go ahead.
Yeah, a couple more things. I think we still need to get a proper forensic audit done if this isn't it, because again, if it comes back that there is no, we've said funny business, shenanigans,
Mischief.
hanky panky. If there's none of that that's happened, yeah, There's none of that that's happened. I think it's really important for people to know because we have several $1 million in police overtime, or not police overtime, excuse me, fire overtime, that may well be justified, and it might be important, but, in a time where, every dollar matters for our families right now as we're in a recession, as things are getting, I think it's important for them to know that their government dollars are being spent the best way possible. And so even if this one is unusable, we should probably do something to really give them some concrete data and a response to say we are doing what we can to take care of your money well. With all that being said, is there a way, that we can get some of that money back? Is there a material breach of contract? Is there...
So, Council, let me be clear. Because she was out of contract, we have not paid for the report. We have not paid for the services that have been rendered because we did not get the deliverable within the time frame of the report. In October is when we were in the process of, do we extend her contract or not? And that's when we reached out to say, are we going to get a final report? Because it had been 6 weeks since we had met, and she was going to give us a corrected report. And the crux of that meeting was really of everything that was done, did it follow what was allowable? You certainly know that during the COVID time, if you were even exposed, you were now allowed to take 10 days off of sick time, which feeds into all the overtime that was driving this. But then in 21, that kind of changed. New guidelines came out, and now it was 5 days. And we really were looking for her to follow that thread all the way through, take a good sampling of folks, follow it through, and even if we allowed it by contract, so she had the contracts, if it was allowed by guidelines, that's what we were looking for. Was everything that was done, was it allowed? It might be. In some cases, it might appear to be excessive use of sick time or excessive use of overtime, but was it allowed? So that we can course correct going forward. We did not really get to those results. Those were really the direct things we were looking for. We didn't get those, unfortunately. And as Chief said, if the smallest thing, like the number of stations, isn't correct, what else isn't correct? Do we have the confidence that she did a sampling, because that really wasn't even disclosed, of out of 300 and some firefighters, you sampled, randomly sampled and pulled, 50 of them and followed all of their time and their schedule. And does it fit in what was allowable per the guidelines, per our contract, per state regulations? We didn't see that. I agree with you. It's still important. And it's really a decision, do we want to continue down that path? Or similar, Councilmember Stratton, what I talked about is we're building a model that will more easily point to where we should investigate further. And if if we find something that we should investigate, then we can pass that smaller segment off to somebody to do a forensic audit.
And my only concern about that is the optic, that we're investigating ourselves. Does that make sense?
But we're not.
We're not.
We're not. Building a staffing model is not investigating, but the staffing model will point if something point out, oh, this looks kind of interesting, maybe we should take a deeper dive. Then we'll pass it off to an auditor, a forensic audit, somebody independent to say, hey, investigate this. It doesn't quite look right.
Okay, last question.
Yeah, last question. But that will only work or help us going forward, right? That won't provide any sort of retrospective look back at what has transpired. And I think, obviously it's pretty clear as to why we don't have those results right now. So I hope the public doesn't misinterpret, but I think the public wants, to know, because there has been reporting, there has been conversation around misuse of time and all that. And so I just think, it could look like we're just simply moving on or covering it up or whatever, but we want to make sure the public has all that information.
And Councilmember Cathcart, what we are doing is we are sending her the letter saying, okay, we've read your final report, thank you. These are still the inaccuracies that we see in the report. We'll see what her response is. We will also let her know that she's out of contract. If she is willing to correct those discrepancies and give us and let us review on that, then we will extend her contract.
Okay, so we're going to move on. Do you need about 5 more minutes or what? Do you need?
I was just going to say thank you. That's all. Yeah, thank you for the patience. That's it.
And so let's keep in touch on this because clearly it's of interest to everybody here. We do still have the matrix study that's not been completed. And you and I attended that one meeting and it was a little troubling to say the least. So let's make sure that we keep close tabs on that one too.
Yes, ma'am. All right, thank you.
Oh, wait, one
Could
more.
Chief Schaefer just give us, he put that up there, I can't read it.
I will, I'll,
I emailed it out already.
okay, yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
in big font.
Okay, thank you both, appreciate it. And we're going to move on to Council President with Public Safety Overtime, SBOs. Well, isn't this, just one leads right into the other? It's up to you now.
All right, again, this is a topic we have been discussing for several months, but we've worked with the Finance Department and Matt Boston, and basically the ARPA subcommittee is recommending that we do an SBO for estimated fire and police overtime to date. Well, not for to date, through the end of 2022. That would take, I'm trying to remember if it's 5.2 million or 6.2 million.
I want to say 5.2.
Looks like 6.2
6.2.
Okay.
is what the briefing paper said.
Yeah, $6.2 million. So it's about half, a little less than half of the remaining unallocated ARPA. But anyway, the subcommittee recommends that we advance that to a vote before the end of the year.
Questions about this? Go ahead.
Just a comment. I'm glad to hear that's the recommendation. I think that's one of the good uses of our ARPA dollars. So I appreciate the ARPA committee's work on that because I think that's a good decision. So
Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess maybe a little bit different take. I worry because I think it's going to perpetuate more unsustainable spending. Because, you know, as we've heard, I mean, the overtime issues have not been fixed. There might be some mitigation. And so to me, this will be paying what is going to continue to be an ongoing expense. And so I'm struggling with it. I would much prefer to pay just simply the delta between this past year and what we're projecting for next year, because I think we can argue that's a one-time expense, but the entirety I think is an ongoing. And so I'm struggling with it, but still thinking it through.
We have raised in the mayor's proposed budget, and I think continuing with council, we're meeting later this week on the budget, but we have raised the annual overtime limit as being part of the budget. So there won't, so we have, that is in there as a help. And I can't speak for police because we did get a disturbing email that they had trouble filling their academy. So I don't know about police, but fire, I believe, is filling their academies. And so we're hoping to have a much lower unexpected
I
overtime.
think they're filling their academies. People aren't coming out of the academies.
On the police?
Yes.
Well, on the police, that at least the email I got, it was the 2 academies they have coming up that hadn't started yet that they dropped out.
Yeah.
So they,
And then there was, yes, right.
Okay.
So that, yes.
Yeah.
We're saying the same thing. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
I was just going to comment to Councilmember Cathcart, it's like we needed to fill this delta through 2022, or it comes out of the general fund, and we know that's already a strained amount. It was difficult, but really we had to pay our people, so that was, I know we all understand that, but that was really the rock in the hard place, and that was the decision that was made.
To confirm, we have the ARPA work group as the sponsors of that, and I'll file it this week.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the order? Because we're going to adjourn. This is a new, you all noticed it's a new format. It doesn't tell me, the next meeting is in January, but it doesn't tell me what date, so we'll assume same time in January, okay? And next date is at 3:30, so thank you all, and we are adjourned.